I think so. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Hi there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Worldwide TV Network, iTube 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee. And I've been looking forward to this show. Our shows get better and better. I feel like I'm always saying it, but I really mean it, because when I had this guy, Zach Sharpe, on from Stern Pinballs, I was like, Zach, I can't just talk to you by myself. We got to get some women on here. I mean, who wants to see a boring black guy in the world's #1 pinball player? So I said, I got Linda Steele, because she's out of your area in Chicago. And then I got to have Trixie on, and then Tash has got to be on. So Zach, tell us who you are and where you're coming from.
I am Zach Sharpe, Director of Marketing for Stern Pinball, the world leader in making pinball machines.
Now, I got to include this. So he's a former #1, not once, but twice. He's got one of the best records as one of the best pinball players, I would say, ever. And Zach and I go back and forth to this. I'm like, I can't play pinball to save my life. But I'm like, maybe Linda can play pinball. Maybe Trixie can. Maybe Tash can. It's all about music, and it's all about location. Zach, talk about why this is a first, because Led Zeppelin doesn't give their rights up to anybody. How did that happen for you guys?
Yeah, so, Stern's been in business for a little over 30 years. And, Gary Stern, the president and CEO, has been trying to get this license for a little over 30 years. So it's been, a labor of love to try to get this game out in the market. And, the world's just collided at the right time. And, now we have a Led Zeppelin pinball machine, forever. I mean, that's the great thing about a pinball machine is once you are on a pinball machine, it's forever. So, Led Zeppelin can claim to have their own pinball machine, which not many bands can say.
And you've got the Beatles too.
That is cool.
We've got the Beatles, AC/DC, Kiss. I mean, you name it, all the biggest bands, Metallica. And yeah, I mean, pinball and music just tie together so well. I mean, it's high energy, intense, and it kind of goes with the nature of pinball. The ball is wild. And when you're kind of, beating to the rocks of, rock and roll or Whole Lotta Love, I mean, it just encompasses everything that's beautiful about pinball.
That is so true. Oh my gosh. So when I was little, so you're from Chicago?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I was born in New York, but lived in Chicago most of my life.
So my father lived on Belmont, Austin, so like west side of Chicago. And we would go to a pizza place on Diversity every Saturday. And there was a pinball machine there. And we would always go pick up the pizza. My dad never wanted it delivered. We always went to pick it up. So I would play pinball until I lost. And we would be like, the pizza's getting cold. And my dad's like, we have to go. And I would be like, I can't go. Like, I'm still winning. And this is from way back when I was little. Like, they had to bring a stool out for me to stand on. That's how little I was. So we're talking like 3, 4, 5 years old. I couldn't even reach where the paddles are. That's how little I was. But it's like there's such an art to it, and it's like timing. There's a talent that goes into this. This is not just go play pimp. Like there's timing involved. There's so much that goes into it. So when Brian asked me to be on the show, I was like, I've been preparing for this my whole life.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about pinball is, there's not necessarily a right or wrong way to do it. I mean, you're batting a ball around, and, while some players, yes, might, play better and be more controlled, at the end of the day, if you're having fun, then everyone's a winner. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are. I've got a 2-year-old, and, he steps on a step stool, and, he doesn't necessarily see the ball or hit the ball, but he loves the sounds. He loves seeing the animations on the screen. I've got a Jurassic Park, and he sees the moving dinosaur head, and he just loves seeing that roar and come to life. So there's no wrong way to do pinball. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it's fun.
So what did y'all have to do differently as the time progressed? People don't stand up to play games. They now love to sit down and be on the couch and play games. What did y'all do to make anything different, if any?
Well, I mean, pinball never went away, and I think that's the beauty of it is it's a bat and ball style machine that can't be replicated. Now, there's digital forms of pinball, which is fun. Don't get me wrong. All things pinball are great, but nothing will ever replace the physical experience of, you know, stepping up to a machine, feeling that tactile flipper action, hitting the ball, nudging it. And the beauty of it is, you know, every game is different. You know, when you play a video game, it's kind of pattern based, and the analog nature of pinball, it can't be replicated. It is, you'll never have the same game twice. You know, when you step up to Pac-Man, the same first level is always the same. You're always going to go through the same dots to get to the next stage. With pinball, when you plunge that ball, your experience is always different. You know, it might be subtly different where it's like, well, I drained right away, but the ball will always kind of move slightly different. You know, you might have a little more dirt on the playfield, so the ball is going to roll a little bit different. So it is always different. The ball is always chaotic. And I always say, you know, you're battling gravity and physics. And while gravity always wins, if you have fun, you ultimately win. So everyone's a winner.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. I was just wondering about that because, you know, a lot of people are doing the digital form, and I didn't know. I mean, me personally, I love going to the places where they have arcade games and stuff. I live here in Houston. We have several places, and to me, I find that experience better. You know, being there, stepping on the game and doing it old school. I love it. It's fun, and then you see the blinking lights and everything. So that's always fun for me. I love it.
I mean, and the best thing is just hearing the music. The music is what pumps you up when it comes to pinball machines. And that's, I was actually looking at your website of all the other ones that you have. You're working on a Star Wars one?
Oh yeah, I mean that's a the beautiful thing of, you know, Stern Pinball and all the machines that we produce, you know, time and time again, is I like to equate it as like a menu item. You know, not everyone likes steak. Some people like chicken. Some people like fish. And it's no different than these properties and themes that we have. So, you know, maybe not everyone's into hard rock like Led Zeppelin or Metallica, but people are into Star Wars and, you know, even some like old school, you know, Munsters. But sometimes we want to hit a younger demographic. We just had a Stranger Things pinball machine, which is, you know, one of the hottest shows of all time, especially for a younger demographic. So it's kind of great to have your cake and eat it too. And when you go into a bar arcade, which I know right now is a little, you know, it's like a dimmer switch. We're slowly going to get there where everything will open back up again. But, you know, just to see a wall of all these different properties that you can play, you just get transported to all these different themes, you know, Avengers, Jurassic Park. So it's great that there's a game for everyone out there.
That is fantastic. And I have a question. Like, can anybody like, you know, message you and be like, hey, like I want a specific type of pinball machine, like a specific theme? Like, do you guys do that, or you just stick to whichever themes you guys want to work on?
Yeah, I mean, we really don't take outside solicitation and ideas because we don't acknowledge it. So somebody might be like, hey, why don't you work on X property? We might already be working on it. So we don't want to tip our cap to what we're working on in the future or something that we've already potentially explored. So we don't take those kinds of ideas, but you know, if you just stay tuned to Stern Pinball on social media, and when we have new games come out, we might just have the theme, you know, right for you.
Zach, what does it usually run to buy the lifetime rights to somebody like Led Zeppelin or Metallica or something like that?
Typically for licensing, we do, it depends on the license, but it's usually between like a 3 and 5 year run. So, you know, we'll be making Led Zeppelin, you know, for the next X amount of years, and then potentially renew that license. So every license is different in terms of, you know, what assets you get, what you can produce for how long, and what's included in that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Zach, talk about, okay, Linda, go ahead.
I was just saying, I just can't imagine, you know, what it would cost to buy the licensing for something like that. I imagine it would be pretty steep.
Yeah, I mean, every licensor is different. You know, some are definitely more expensive than others. So let's just say Led Zeppelin's on the higher end than, you know, something else.
I would imagine so.
Hey, Zach, talk about why the company is important, because there's a history there. And also, when things clear up, Linda, I want to have a tour for us for movie reviews and more.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, can you repeat that question? You broke up at the beginning.
Oh, I said, when things clear up, I want to have a tour for us for movie reviews and more. And then since Linda lives in the area, she'll probably be the first to go for us.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. I would love to.
I'll give you a personal tour.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great. Where exactly are you located?
In Elk Grove Village.
Brian, you did tell me that.
Yeah, it's like right outside of O'Hare.
I owned a gym in Elk Grove, right on Nergy and Devon. So I'm a little bit west of O'Hare.
Yep. So we're right in the heart of that manufacturing city.
So you're probably off of Devon or like in the lively Devon area.
Yeah, like right off of like Elmhurst Road, Bussy, kind of like.
Oh yeah, Bussy, right. Yep. Yeah, I know exactly where you are. I could jog to you.
I wouldn't jog right now. It's a little cold.
No, I'm gonna drive.
Hey, Zach, so when you were playing, what is that feeling like, not only to be number one once, but twice, and then always be like in the top two? What's that feeling like? Because I can only imagine what that's like.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very competitive, and maybe it's because I'm a younger brother. So growing up, always wanting to best my brother. And I think that was always my initial goal, was like, I'm going to be better than my brother. And then I exceeded that. So it's like, all right, what's my next goal? And eventually it was to conquer the world. And, fortunately I was able to do that. So I don't know. I'm always competitive. And the thing that I love about pinball is, again, gravity always wins, but just trying to control the chaos. And when you get locked in and zoned in a pinball machine, they kind of have this term called the Zen of Pinball, and you just tune out everything. You just get so immersed in what you are playing that it's just a truly special moment, depending on, what game you're playing. So if you're Led Zeppelin, I am in a personal Led Zeppelin concert, just completely immersed, kind of turn off the outside world. So you kind of disconnect by connecting to a pinball machine. And when you're beating somebody for thousands of dollars or a pinball machine, even better.
So you say for thousands of dollars, do you ever think that someone may tamper with the machine the night prior?
No, I mean, well, that's a beautiful thing about a pinball machine outside of like a video game is at these tournaments, they're set up in a way where the tilt is really sensitive and no extra balls. They're set super steep. So that way games won't play, forever. There's tournament directors that will referee matches. So, there's no shenanigans. It's all in the up and up. And it's a physical game. So it's like, you can't really fake gravity. It's like your ball drains, the game knows that it drained and your ball's over. So it's not like a video game where you hack it and you're able to like, all right, I'm Mario and I've got 100 lives.
It can't deflate like a football. It can't deflate, or they change out the little balls that they use, the weight, right?
Call.
Gravity defying.
Maybe to me, I would think of something like that. I don't know, weird questions, but that's...
What do the officiants, what do the officiators do? Or whatever they're called? What is their role?
Just to monitor. So, I mean, there's sometimes, sometimes rules will need to be addressed, such as if a player potentially plays out of turn, or if there's a stuck ball, players can't take advantage of a stuck ball. Because again, that's a way to exploit the machine.
Yeah.
So say that you're in a multi-ball and a ball gets lodged somewhere, the tournament director will have to free it up. Otherwise, somebody can play a multi-ball, which is supposed to be chaotic. But in a single ball play, a good player can really exploit that.
Mm-hmm.
What I found interesting was the graphics of how when people are playing, they could take that tour as one of the members of the Led Zeppelin. I think that's pretty interesting. Did it take a long time to come up with that concept?
Yeah, so every game is different, and especially on the design side, everyone has an idea of how they want to bring a property to life. And, this is obviously not the first music game that's ever been done before. So it's always trying to, creatively explore new and exciting ways to, bring an experience to the player. And our lead programmer had this really cool idea, and he has a music background. So he kind of wanted to meld together music and pinball in a way that's never been done before. So with a pinball machine, sometimes when you have a certain mode or feature going, it's the same experience over and over again. So he wanted to flip that on its side, where if you're playing a certain song in the machine, if you're in a verse versus a chorus, the shots on the playfield will change. So it doesn't feel as if you're playing the same song and the same shots over and over. If you're in a different part of this, 4.5-minute song, it's going to change your experience every time you're playing the machine. So it was a really cool way of having this new approach to shooting flashing lights on a machine while also immersing you into the music.
So as
all the things we take for granted while we're playing pinball.
What's that?
I said those are some of the things that we take for granted while we're playing pinball. I probably would not have paid attention to that. I mean, I would recognize that the music was getting, the tempo was changing or something, but yeah, the way that it goes along with the way the balls are coming at you and so forth, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, we are experts at creating, top-notch entertainment, and everything needs to be perfect and perfectly choreographed. I mean, every game is a rock concert, whether it's, a music theme, movie themes, comic book themed. It is really an orchestra of lights, sounds, and motion. And just to have that all kind of packaged together in a way that feels natural and have that haptic feedback feel good for a player. So when you hit a certain shot, you want that sound to really amp you up. So it's no different than a conductor, wanting to hit the right notes at the right time to have that experience just feel completely natural, immersive, and everything feels in place and right with the world.
when it comes to the company, why did everybody gravitate to Stern? How did that happen? Obviously, they're not going to gravitate to anybody that has lesser value or their product is inferior. How did that happen for the company? Because that's a big, huge thing. After year after year, it's almost like you keep upping the bar.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we are the leaders, the global leaders. And if you want a pinball machine, you go to Stern Pinball. I mean, that is why everyone wants to work with us, all the largest properties in the world, because we will bring your universe to life and showcase it around the world. I mean, a lot of people joke, you haven't made it until you're on a pinball machine, and everyone wants to get in on the action.
So how heavy are those bad boys? Have they gotten any lighter throughout the years?
Excuse me?
How heavy are the pinball machines? Have they gotten any lighter since, 'cause I remember back in the day they were real heavy. I didn't know.
I mean, they're still pretty heavy. I don't recommend moving by yourself. I think they're a little over 200 pounds, but they are actually getting a little bit lighter. So while the advancement in technology you might see on the front end, with new toys, the LCD animation, RGB changing lights, really under the hood is where we have progressed technologically with our new Spike 2 system. So there's less components. So that makes the game lighter, more reliable. So, back in the day, there was a mile of wire in every single pinball machine, and that's down to around half a mile of wire. And, there's less moving parts. So games are more reliable, easier to service. So they have become lighter in that sense too.
That's great.
Linda could move it without any problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach, talk about what are the tours like, and then how will they be different, do you think, when they open back up again?
I don't know if they'll be so much different outside of maybe the number of people going in and out, but pre-COVID days, I mean, the factory tour, you are literally seeing these machines built in front of your eyes. So, we have the capacity to build up to 75 pinball machines every day. So when you walk around the facility, not only do you see our stock room, which houses, all of the parts for the machines that we're assembling. Every single pinball machine has 3,500 parts in a machine, and every component is necessary to build a machine. which is just, again, I mean, you want to talk about a conductor. Our production manager has to choreograph and make sure all the parts are in place to assemble these machines, because if one piece is missing, you can't finish building a machine. It'd be like having a car built, but one lug nut is missing on a wheel. You wouldn't put that out in the wild. So it's like you need everything just buttoned up. And it's cool because you'll see the play field get drilled, assembled. We have, the assembly line where people are soldering, moving down the line to testing. We've got our wiring, cable assembly, our wood shop. You have the decals getting put on, and then ultimately the final QA and inspection before these things get boxed up and shipped all over the world. So, I mean, you walk around the facility, you see everything.
So how long does it take to build just one pinball machine? Sounds like a lot of.
Yeah, no, from
Like
us, from start to finish, it takes roughly 24 people hours to assemble from start to finish.
That's impressive.
Are you shipping
I mean,
to
these
all over the world?
All over the world. The only continent is Antarctica that we don't service, but goals, right?
Goals for 2021.
Yeah, even though I feel like I live in Antarctica right now.
I know.
Hey, Zach, talk about some of the games for the audience that you guys have already had.
Yeah, sure. So currently in production right now, Jurassic Park, Led Zeppelin, Batman, Elvira, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Stranger Things, Avengers. Trying to think what else. We built a lot of different machines. Monsters, Black Knight.
Oh,
some of the past ones.
I played the Black
Walking
Knight.
Dead, AC/DC.
That Black Knight one was
What's that?
cool. The Black Knight was cool.
Yeah, Black Knight, Beatles. I think I said Stranger Things already.
Wow.
And I would love to see the Stranger Things, because Stranger Things is my favorite show, so that would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, what's really cool, if you go on sternpinball.com, we have a pinball locator, and you can actually search out where to find different Stern machines on location.
Oh.
Ooh.
So you might have a Stranger Things.
That's good to
in a
know. Do you know
nearby
if there are
location.
any? Oh, do you know if there's any in Miami by any chance, like from the top of your head?
My guess would be, yeah.
Probably. There's got to be.
Tosh, do you play pinball at all?
I used to when I was like little, when my mom would take me to like the laundry, like room center, like before there was like laundry machines in your house. I don't know, but there used to be like a whole arcade, and I would always want to play the pinballs and the Pac-Man. So it's nice to talk about these pinball machines because it brings back so many like good memories from like back from my childhood. So this is awesome. Like the whole pinball machine, I think that's also great because pinball machines have been like for forever, have been here for a while. So I feel like it's nice for people like who are really into pinball to get a pinball machine, or just anyone to get a pinball machine and kind of just like throw back to like when they were like younger, like, going to an arcade, having some popcorn, like, so that's pretty cool what you're doing.
No,
we still go. Even when we're old. I go to Dave and Buster's all the time, and now that things are starting to open up again, those are the arcades over here in Houston, and I love it. And I just heard of a new one that just opened up that it's $10, and that's your entry fee, and you can play all the games as long as you want.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna check that place out. That one just opened like last week.
And that's the beautiful thing about pinball and arcades in general. I have yet to meet somebody who's had a bad memory or experience from playing a pinball machine or a game from their youth or even recently. I've never heard somebody say like, "Oh, pinball machine, man, I had a really bad memory."
Yeah,
you don't hear about that.
Hey, they
Brian's
haven't made,
like, I got one. No, I'm kidding.
they haven't made one on fitness yet, have they?
On fitness?
Yeah.
You know what? They actually have. Back in, I think in the 80s, there was this game called Hard Body, and it's got really bad artwork, But hey, you know, like I said, there's a pinball machine for everyone
I
out
do
there.
remember every pinball machine that I saw as a kid had a beautiful woman on it. Like, you know, big boobs, beautiful, you know, hair, the whole bit. That I do remember. And
That was the future you.
Maybe that's why I was always like, I have to play that. Like I was like, you know, that's what I want to look like when I get to be a big girl.
And now you do.
It's crazy.
So Zach,
Even, you know, I remember one of my friends even had a pinball machine in her basement. I actually just texted her to ask her which one she had, because I can't remember what the artwork was on it. But I remember it just occurred to me that she had one in her basement. We used to play all the time. I forgot about that.
Zach, where's the company going from here now?
Bigger and better every year.
Think you'll stay in Illinois?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the heart of, you know, manufacturing capital of the world. So yeah, I mean, Stern, you know, where we produce these is not going anywhere. But in terms of, you know, shipping games all over the world, you know, bigger and better. I mean, we're getting new markets all over the world, and we continue, you know, and plan to grow. So
Elk Grove is huge. Elk Grove Village is huge for industrial. I mean, there's a huge, I don't even know how many square miles there are in Elk Grove, but it's, if you look at a map, you can't believe where it goes, you know, the roads, like you don't even realize you're still in Elk Grove.
It's actually the largest manufacturing city, like per capita, in the entire world, which I learned about. Yeah. And they sponsor, I don't know if it's happening this year, obviously, with all of the COVID stuff, but Elk Grove City or Elk Grove Village sponsored the College Bahama Bowl, the Makers Wanted Bahama Bowl, which we hosted a pinball tournament for the players down in the Bahamas a few years back. So they are, I mean, they're a big deal, the city.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see where you'd want to stay. They're pretty good to their businesses.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach, give the social media links for the company, please.
Yeah, so I mean, if you go to sternpinball.com, I know on the bottom we have our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube links. Just subscribe and you'll find out all the Stern news whenever new stuff hits.
And talk about what it was like to debut with the Led Zeppelin on the demonstration at that for the Consumer Electronics Show this year, since it was virtual. I don't see that how it was hindered you guys at all, because it's a pinball machine.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, it's not ideal. I mean, again, a pinball machine is meant to be played. I mean, it's still fun to watch, don't get me wrong, but you want to get your hands on it and play it. But, you know, we worked with our global brand ambassador, Jack Danger. He's a Twitch partner on his Dead Flip channel. If you go to twitch.tv/deadflip, and he has all the cameras and sets it up beautifully. So we were able to demonstrate the game as if it was a live stream. So we had the same cool experience of showcasing the game in the best light. And now it's just a matter of, you know, when people can go visit, you know, a local dealer, arcade safely, and check out the machine. Another really cool opportunity, if you go to sternpinball.com and you find a local dealer or distributor, sometimes they run rental programs. So whether you want to rent a Stranger Things for a month or two, you don't necessarily have to buy the game outright. So you might be able to find a game you like and rent it.
That's a good idea.
Rent for Christmas.
I like that, actually.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that too. What was it like when you were crowned the world's greatest pinball player? Just the thought of hearing that, what was that like? What was that feeling like for you?
It felt good. I don't know how else to, you know, I'd say it was definitely a good feeling accomplishment. And it was a nice little playful banter with my brother, just to be like, maybe one day you'll get this. All in good fun. All in good
fun. All right, so Zach, not getting out of here until you said, what's a couple favorite movies that you like?
Oh, a couple of favorite movies. Ooh. Of like recent movies?
Anything.
I mean, if I had to go like true top 3, I mean, Memento, which is Christopher Nolan's old film. That's one of my favorites, but I can go with some of the true classics like the Godfather series. I'm a sucker for Rocky, so like Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 are my jam.
Is there a Rocky pinball machine?
There was back in the 80s, I believe.
Wow. All right, so Linda Steele, give them a rundown of who you are real quick, since you guys live not too far from each other.
So I am a fitness trainer. I've been in the industry for 18 years. And so when I first started my career as a trainer, I worked at Bally Total Fitness, which was, right down the street in Schaumburg. And I was there for about 6 years and went on my own, opened up my own gym in Elk Grove, and then opened up another one in Des Plaines, which is not about as close to your location, only east, as my Elk Grove location was. And closed one, sold one, and now I've just been working as a trainer. I do virtual training. I do training in my home, hoping to soon open up a gym back up so that I can, train some clients again now that COVID is, starting to hopefully wrap itself up and people are going back to the gyms. So I'm also a fitness, I model fitness and bikini. And my daughter just started a meal prep business, which is also local, and I'm in on that now, helping her. It's called Macro Made Meals. And so that's just starting to launch. Of course, our website for the last couple of weeks was supposed to launch. It's supposed to launch this week again. So we're hoping that happens. And so it's mostly, health, fitness, wellness. That's what my background is.
And Tash?
Well, so I'm a Latin pop singer from Miami. I just started my career last year. I had an epiphany during the pandemic, and I said, this is the time to go for what I really love. So now I'm going to add to my goal list to be on a pinball machine one day. That's when I know that I am up there on a Stern pinball machine.
And you got how many views the last 3 weeks?
40,000 views on my latest music video. If you like Latin pop music, I definitely invite you to take a listen to it. I'm on all the streaming services. And you also can go to my website, natasharumbosmusic.com, and you can see my music video, which I co-directed. So that's pretty cool. So kind of I like to touch a little bit of the entertainment industry, like co-hosting, music, directing, acting, a little bit of everything.
An award-winning producer, Trixie Jen.
Well, I'm just enjoying my time out here in Houston, and as everyone knows, here in Texas, we're pretty much open, and I have so many events next month in March. So I'll be working on my new show called Being Proficient, which is a nice sporting show of women and men athletes and children with disabilities. So it's also a feel-good story at the end, and it's about being proficient. And that's the show I'm working on it. And we anticipate to be on Amazon Prime Video this spring in April. So it's coming up fast, and I'll be in production all month. And you can follow me on customtrends.tv. And you'll see more stuff of my other shows from customtrends.tv, which I cover cars, sports, fashion, and nightlife throughout the world. So that's so hopefully things get picking back up and I go back to Cannes, back home, go back to Cannes, go back to Monte Carlo, and do all the wonderful things that I've been doing out there, like Grand Prix and the Cannes Film Festival, and just different fashion shows in general out there that I've covered throughout the years. So I can't wait. If it happens, we'll see. Crossing my fingers.
That's just a little bit of what we do. So now you got me thinking. I think I want to be on a pinball machine, but Linda should be have her pinball machine too. I'm thinking about this now. So don't be surprised if I come to you guys one day and say, I'm ready. We have the views. So you're going to remember this. If we're at 7 million views a day and counting right now, between now and April, we'll be at 20 to 25 million.
Nice.
We'll get
Awesome.
reaching out to you. And you know what we'll do? I'll let all the girls be on it and I'll just marvel at it.
Brown be in the background like this.
Exactly. So Zach, I want to thank you for coming on Movie Reviews and More. It's always a pleasure. Keep up the good work with everything. We will be reaching out because I got some ideas now. And thank you so much for everything and congratulations on that. And I can't wait to see you to be #1 again for the 3rd time.
I would like that. I joke. I don't even know where I'm ranked right now, but I just say I love my child more than my rank right now. And when he gets a little older and I get back on the scene, I'm gonna shoot for #1 again. So
Good for you.
All right.
And then when things open up again, I'm going to create a tour where we go to Chicago and Linda's going to lead us over to her former gyms and everything like that. And then we're going to go take a tour over at Stein.
Yes.
perfect. And then we'll have some Chicago pizza too.
Yes.
Oh, I live for that.
Deep
pizza.
dish.
All right. So I have to always end this. I got to thank Linda for coming on because she's been very busy. Trixie, thank you as usual so much. Tash, thank you because she uploads all of our videos. Trixie creates a lot of our flyers and stuff like that. And yes, Linda, she will be training with you pretty soon. It's almost in the works.
Yes.
Trixie. So I always say this, if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. There's a lot of people suffering out there and it's our job to help them. Zach, thank you so much. And we will see you